Hey everybody, and welcome back to Church Street. We are so grateful that you would take the time to listen in on this podcast, maybe watch it, whether you are at home with a computer screen, whether you're in the car with a podcast. We are grateful to be with you. Today, I am excited for what we're going to talk about as we are starting to look ahead at this new season that the church is about to walk right into. I guess a new season, but also a very ancient season as well. And as we get started, my name is Zach Stiefel. I am one of the pastors here at First Grapevine Methodist Church, and I'm joined by Dr. Keva Green, the other pastor on our staff. And though you cannot see him, we have Mr. Paul Beals off screen, making sure that we sound good and look good along the way. But what we're going to talk about this day is the season of Lent and what it is, why we observe it, and not only that, but we're going to look at some of the important days along the way, because it starts with a high and a holy day, and it ends with the highest and holiest of days. And we're excited to walk through this season with you. And on top of that, we'll even touch just a little bit, at least, on what we will be preaching about through the season of Lent. So, Pastor Keva, how are you today?
Great, and I'm excited about this topic. This is just the incredible season, the high season for the church to come into Lent and then move towards Easter.
Right.
So.
It's wild that it's already here.
I know.
But exciting nonetheless. And in a church like ours, what you'll see is, of course, we're going to observe some of these days, and the biggest of them being Ash Wednesday, which is on February 18th, Palm Sunday, which is on March 29th, Maundy Thursday, which is on April 2nd, Good Friday, which is April 3rd, and then Easter Sunday is on April 5th. And if you are looking around, if you're paying attention, one of the things you'll notice is that the stoles that we wear and the colors around the room and around our table are going to be purple. Can you tell us a little bit why?
Okay, well, in the church, there are different colors for different seasons. But for both the times of preparation leading up to Christmas, celebrating Jesus' birth, which is called Advent, and then for Lent, leading up to Easter, those are times of preparation, and they're leading up to those holy days. And so for both those times, that's when we get to wear purple stoles. And sometimes they're dark blue, but often they're purple, just signifying the royalty and recognizing that it's a time of preparation as we get ready for in Christmas during Advent, or in Lent leads up to Easter.
Yeah, and I like that it's purple because, like you said, it is the royal color, and it is signifying what Jesus has done and what he continues to do in our lives, and that is to be our king. Be the one that we give our attention and our worship and our devotion to. So if you are here, what you'll notice is purple. And along with that, you're going to see us talking about something very specific. And I'm excited for what we're going to preach on over the next it's a 6-7 week time. But we are looking at the character of Jesus. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend a lot of time in the Gospel of John. So if you're going to be joining us, go ahead and bookmark John in your Bible and get ready to turn there, because throughout John, he has what we call the I am statements. Right. And we are going to see Jesus make these statements that say, I am this. And it is an amazing thing of Jesus is looking backwards and forwards at the same time, because he's identifying himself as God. As just like we saw in the book of Exodus chapter 3, when Moses is approaching the burning bush and he says, well, who do I say sent me? And God says, tell them that I am sent you, that I am who I am. And you'll hear about this on Ash Wednesday, but what that means is not just I am who I am, but I was who I was and I will be who I will be, that God is going to be consistent throughout every day, every step, every season of our lives. And Jesus, throughout the Gospel of John, is going to throw in these statements that says, I am something. And he is essentially putting his hand up saying, I am God, but I am also what you need right now.
Right.
And he will say things along the lines of, I'm the bread of life. I am the good shepherd. I am the gate for the sheep. I am the true vine. He'll even get into, I am the resurrection and the life. As we get ready to preach this, what are you looking forward to about it?
I get excited about it because it really is. Jesus is describing his character, but it's also giving more of a substantial identification. And what if you really study Eastern culture versus Western culture, and of course they were in Israel and in the East, they recognize more solid things. Yeah, I mean, from the Western culture, we describe things as, oh, that was beautiful, or that was grand, or whatever. They're more adjectives that are more kind of descriptive. But for the Eastern culture, it's more specific things like bread, or the gate or shepherd. It's things that those people could really relate to.
Yeah.
And so I love the fact that Jesus takes those. And so each time that we're going to get into it, there's a story behind, why he's calling himself that at that point. But he's just trying to make them understand there is so much more to him than what we could ever imagine. And he uses these incredible examples to describe himself.
Yeah. Is there one that stands out as the most influential or impactful for you?
Wow. That's tough to say because, whichever one I'm focused on at that moment, that's the one I really, am drawn to. I guess I am the resurrection just because that means so much to us.
Yeah.
But I mean, each one of them is so powerful, especially when you really dig into it. So,
yeah.
But what about you? Is there one that you just really...
I think right now, in the culture that we're in, something that you hear fairly often is, I just want to speak my truth. And I understand what people are saying.
My truth.
But you point straight to when Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life.
Yeah.
That I think we have this convoluted picture of truth sometimes based on how we feel and based on our emotions. And we can point to Jesus saying, this is what truth is. Yeah. I am what truth is.
And he is the only one that is the truth.
That's the one that has stuck out most to me right now. I think historically the one that I continue to land on is the Good Shepherd.
Yeah.
And I have this picture in my mind of Jesus and God having a conversation before he's going to come and be born, before he's going to do all these things. And God saying, just look at them. Like, what are they doing? And Jesus is like, they're like sheep. They're like sheep without a shepherd. I can be their shepherd and see him live into it throughout his life. And I think I love that picture. And of course it traces back to the 23rd Psalm that the good shepherd is with you in the darkest of valleys, or the shepherd does not leave you, and his rod and his staff, they are a comfort to you. And Jesus is saying, let me be that person. Yeah. Because I am that person. I'm pretty fired up about this series.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be a great series.
And I think it falls in the perfect time based on the sermon series we're in right now. It's like we planned it this way almost. Yeah. Let me rephrase. It's like God was helping us get to the spot.
Maybe he told us what to do. Yeah, so you want to touch what we're talking about right before?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So right now we are in a series called Faith And so we're looking at different aspects of our lives and how our faith impacts it. So we looked at faith and God's plan and how, even if we don't understand what's going on, God has a plan. We just need to have faith in God. Then I guess it was faith and action next, of how our faith impacts what we do and the action that we take. Next was faith and commitment, and you preached that one
online
on the Sunday that everything was snowy, and it's about our commitment, how our faith impacts our commitment to God.
I pointed out in the contemporary service of if you watched it, you lived it.
Yeah.
You committed to jumping in even from online.
Yeah, you were willing to do it. So, and this past Sunday, it was a powerful one, faith and fear, and how our faith impacts fear, and that we shouldn't be afraid of anything according to Bible. The only thing we should fear is God himself, and that's more of an awe and reverence. And if we have enough faith in him, why would we fear anything else?
Yeah.
And then this next Sunday, it's that we're working on right now, is faith and forgiveness, about how important it is to forgive. In fact, we can't be forgiven unless we forgive others. And so that ties back to our faith. But what is cool is when we laid this out, the Sunday right before Ash Wednesday is faith and doubt.
Yeah.
And that is powerful because we'll be talking about how our faith impacts those times where we question, is God really God? And those doubts that we have. And then, we're talking about that doubt, but then we're jumping into the I am statements.
Yeah.
And Jesus answering that doubt over and over and over by saying, I am, the bread of life. I am the good shepherd, and each one of them. And so it's just like it just beautifully flows.
I think so too. And it's even what the season of Lent represents. Yeah. It is intentionally set to be 40 days and 40 nights because that was Jesus's time in the wilderness. And in that he was being tempted by Satan, and really what Satan was doing was he was trying to put a crack in his foundation to make him doubt God. Yeah. And of course Jesus withstood because Jesus is Jesus, but we are mirroring what he went through in the sense of we are called to fast or to pick something up, a spiritual discipline, or to let something go, whether it can be anything. A big one I think right now is social media. Yeah. This is a big one that people give up, myself included. But we see that a season like this one takes sacrifice and the utmost type of faith and trust in what God is doing in our lives. And so I think it'll be really meaningful.
Yeah. Well, in fact, during that 40 days, that is such a powerful time where you can grow so much closer to the Lord. And it's leading up to Easter. And it's the 40 days, but it's the 40 days not counting Sundays. Because some people try to count it on the calendar and they go, oh, wait a minute, I get more than that. So it's 40 days, but not counting Sundays. And we kind of refer to Sundays as little Easters. Yeah. So they're a little break in there each week. But those 40 days can be so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a time of great intention if we allow it to be.
Yeah.
And God seems to move in those moments, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anytime we're going to open ourselves up and we're saying, Lord, I want to experience you and move in my life. Show me what you're telling me in Scripture, speak to me. When we make ourselves available, that's when we recognize God. I think he's always talking to us. He's always moving around us. But I think we get so busy with life that we often miss it. And yet this can be a particular season, especially if we do fast or pick up a new extra time praying or whatever, but we're very intentional, then I think it's a time where we can really grow in the Lord and just experience him in ways that we wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. And really the season culminates over a full week.
Right.
And that gets kicked off with Palm Sunday. And this is the piece of Scripture where Jesus makes his entry into Jerusalem going into the final week of his life. And we will celebrate that. We will have palm branches and we'll wave them. We're even going to have a furry friend make his way down the aisle in the sanctuary. That is a donkey for those concerned by that statement. But it's going to be a great celebration, and our family ministries team is already hard at work to have an Easter egg hunt for children after that will include a petting zoo and food and fun and all of those wonderful things. And I think it's the perfect way to start this week.
Yeah.
And then as we go further into it, we'll get to Thursday, which is known as Maundy Thursday. And that is a Latin word for mandate. And that's when Jesus gives the mandate to us to love one another.
Right.
And so we'll have a service that evening. And as we prepare for that, is there something in particular you're looking forward to most in it?
Well, you know me. I love on Maundy Thursday. Of course, it's Jesus having the Lord's Supper with his disciples because it's the Passover, and so he's meeting with them. And so we will have Holy Communion. But then after that, Jesus and his disciples go out to the Mount, and then after that, he's arrested and stripped of everything, you know, and taken and beaten. And so at the end of that service, after we've had a regular service and had Holy Communion, then one of the things that we do to recognize that everything is stripped away is we literally strip the sanctuary of, you know, the candlesticks, the communion elements, the different things that are around you
All the
and
way
I.
down to our vestments.
Yeah, I would say we lose our stole and our robes, and everything is taken away, and it's just this very visual, you know, for those that need to really see things, it's this very visual of everything taken away at this time because Jesus is beaten and judged and is going to be crucified and die. And so that is such a powerful moment in that service. And last year, I think it was the first time that we had done it at this church.
It's the first time I had ever seen it.
Yeah, I've done it in several of other churches, and it's always been powerful. But we got a lot of great response about it last year. So I've already had people asking as we started the new year, asking, "Are we going to do that again on Maundy Thursday?" So
yeah, it'll be special.
Yeah.
And then going into the next day, a day that's known as Good Friday, we will have another service that evening, and we're going to feel the weight of Jesus' crucifixion. And that leads into this weekend where we know that we celebrate our risen King, but always the cross comes before the crown for Jesus. And I think that's an important thing for us to remember. But we started something last year that I'm excited about, and we'll do it again this year, and that is right at the very end of the Good Friday service. We'll have something a little unique. Can you tell us about it?
We'll have a prayer vigil that will start that evening, and people will have an opportunity the weeks leading up to sign up for an hour, but from Friday evening, about 7:30 or 8, whenever it starts, until Easter morning, there will be somebody in the prayer room each hour, coming in to pray, for our church, for our community, for our nation, just to spend an entire hour, praying to God.
Yeah.
And it is always so powerful. It's amazing when you spend that time, of just saying, I'm going to dedicate myself for an hour, especially when you're in our beautiful prayer room.
Yeah.
To have that chance to just pray is amazing.
It really is. This is a funny story. So on a Sunday morning, the prayer room is where I practice my sermon, where I go over it. And on Easter, I think I pulled in at 4:30 or 5 that morning. And I'd forgotten that somebody was in the prayer room, and it just about jumped out of my boots when I walked in there to practice, and there was somebody in there. It cracked me up. But then we'll go into our Easter celebrations, and we are going to have 4 that day, starting at sunrise.
Yeah.
And we'll have a sunrise service. We'll have an 8:30 traditional service in our sanctuary. We'll have a 9:45 contemporary service back down in the Botanical Garden where the sunrise service was, and then we'll have an 11 o'clock in our sanctuary as well, and it's just going to be a great day to celebrate.
Oh, yeah. With all the great music and just the flowers and the sermons and the prayers, and, Easter is so special anyway.
It is, and it's such a fun time to see. You have so many people at their very best, I think, even down to the flowers, that They always seem to shine a little bit brighter on a day like Easter.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wonderful day.
Well, in fact, speaking of the flowers, I love the fact that we cover this huge cross.
Yeah.
With, I guess, is it chicken wire? Is that what that wire is? And then there's all these cut flowers that as people come in, they're given a flower and they can go and place it on it. And so when it's all finished, it is just this amazing cross that is just covered with these beautiful flowers. And so there's something special about it. It's like taking this symbol that is just this horrible symbol of crucifixion, but the way God covers it with His beauty. And
there's a contemporary song called "Graves into Gardens," and that's what I picture: is you have the grave and it turns into something beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I loved that too. I think it's a really meaningful thing, and it really is beautiful.
It is.
Y'all, there's so much good that's coming, and we're excited to go on this journey with you.
Yeah.
So over the next weeks, as we, one, get closer to Lent, but two, as we walk through this season, don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have questions about it, or if you just need somebody to talk to about it as you are going through a fast or taking something on, whatever that may be. We are here for y'all, and we're grateful to get to be here with you. Keva, do you have any final thoughts about the season of Lent?
Just that, it's such a privilege being able to serve here, but especially for this community and for this season. I just, it kind of gives you chill bumps thinking about all that God has already been doing, and we've been watching that, but just knowing there's so much more coming, and especially as we move into Lent, this time of preparation, and particularly as we move to Easter. So looking forward to every moment of it.
Yeah, we can't wait to experience it with y'all, to see what God's going to do, because surely God will do some amazing things.
Yeah.
But once again, thank y'all for joining us, for being here, taking part in the conversation, because we truly believe that the conversation doesn't have to stop. And so let me say a word of thanks to Paul once again for doing what he does. He's got the editing piece and making sure that this gets sent out to all of you who will want to listen. We're grateful, Paul, so thank you. But until the next time, we can't wait to see you again on Church Street. Have a good one.